You good? Are you live?
Throw it.
We're going live. We are live.
Now? Good.
As I
Andy
am,
shows up late usually. Everything.
The important thing is that the screen is here. You know, we could fill an empty screen with like a background or something of Andy.
Nice.
So I don't know if everybody that just walked away heard. We're live now. I did. We've been live for almost 30 seconds now.
Hi, Ren.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, I love this
Hi, Ren.
kitchen chat.
Oh, we are live.
Live. Has anyone had their candy corn today?
Oh, I wish.
Oh. I'm almost done with this bag. It's very good.
Usually I'd be 3 bags deep, but you know,
Yeah. I mean, it's still early in the season.
Do you have like a process to eating it, or do you just eat the whole piece?
I usually will pour some in my hand. I'll eat all the broken pieces first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just put them in my mouth one at a time. Finish one, put another in. It's like conveyor.
Yeah.
Are you missing
Them
something?
by layer.
The tips first, right?
I
Right,
do.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't do the tips; they're too small. I do eat other foods in a certain process.
Yeah.
Thank you, Al.
Like
Kit
Kit
Kats
Kats.
take me like 10 minutes. I have
Me
to.
too.
I have a whole.
Oh, it's so fun.
I'm scared. There's somebody named Megan who's trying to get into our room right now. I don't know who
Get out
Megan
of my
is.
room, Megan.
Oh,
There's a caller at the door.
Oh,
Put-
cool.
money that it's Tim Lampier on
But
Maggie.
She must have gotten the
yeah, it's probably Tim.
password.
Tell Tim he's a little too late. He's gonna.
Oh, okay.
No, I know. All right. Sorry, Tim. We're out of time. We gotta get going. You know why? Because it's Tuesday night. You're coated in pumpkin spice hand sanitizer, and you can finally enjoy football again because they're not letting the Raiders fans in. This is Quarantine. Woo!
What up?
Yo.
Hello.
Oh, there is theme music.
I believe it.
Is my giraffe making anyone uncomfortable?
I didn't know that was a giraffe.
Hello,
I thought it was
everybody,
like a
and
baby.
welcome to Quarantine, the game show where all of our contestants have tested positive for fun, and one of them has hepatitis. My name is Chris Iannucci. I am so glad to be your host for a wonderful game this evening, and what a game we have planned for you. We have 2 amazing teams who are here to go head to head. Was that 6? For trivia dominance and to win a quote-unquote amazing prize at the end of it all. And we're going to meet them right now. Now, our first team is joining us from the great state of Rhode Island. You have seen them before if you have watched the show before, because they are certainly no strangers. They are Quarantina and The Waves. And playing tonight for Quarantina and The Waves, give everybody a big wave. We have Tina, we have Rachel, and we have Kelly. Welcome back to the show. How are you all doing on this wonderful evening?
Oh,
You're
refreshed.
okay.
It's so glad to actually have you back on. Now, the last time we had you on, we were in the middle of our Quarant tournament, and unfortunately, you didn't win. And we've been dying to have you back, specifically Rachel, because I believe Rachel, and I'm quoting here, you sent us a message saying, "Bring back Quarantina and The Waves, you coward," were your exact words to me.
It doesn't
Insisted that
sound
you
like.
come back on the show. Now I know that's it seems like a stretch for you, Rachel, but I kowtowed to threats. So we're so glad to have you back on. We hope you're all doing well and staying safe in this time, and we look forward to seeing what you can do tonight on your special comeback. But your contestants tonight have never been on the show before, and we are so thrilled to have them on for the first time ever. If you've ever seen comedy in Chicago, then you clearly know who these people are. They are Chicago's most sketch comedy, host of the Power Hour. I'm so excited to have them on tonight. Cigarette Sandwich. Give a huge wave to the folks back home. And tonight playing for Cigarette Sandwich, we have Carl, we have Case, and we have Andy. And Sig Sandwich, thank you so much for coming on tonight. How are you all doing?
Doing
Pretty
great.
good.
Awesome.
Fantastic. And so you all hosted the Power Hour, and we'll give you a chance to plug it later on in the show because everybody needs to see it. But how have you been liking the whole switch from live to stream stuff? Are you guys having fun with the medium, or how's that been going?
I do not like it, but I am having fun.
That could be the motto for 2020, I feel like. I do not like it, but it's all we got. So, well, again, thank you so much for coming on tonight. And again, good luck to you all of our contestants. Let's get started. But before we get started, we got one more person that I have to mention, because he's the heart and soul of this show. He's the beating, the drum beat that keeps this thing moving forward. And it is my brother, our tech guy, Al. How's it going tonight?
Going fantastic, bro. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as well. I noticed you're still on vacation, and apparently you live a little bit further down under.
Taking advantage of this distance everything, and I figured I'd distance myself as far as possible from the U.S., and I'm in Australia.
That's fantastic. And everything really is upside down there, I guess.
It is.
Cool. Well, hold on tight, because we got a good show coming up tonight. So here we go. And so for those of you who have never seen the show before, first of all, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We know you're having a great time. So let's explain the rules to you and to our contestants. In front of me, I have a series of lovingly handcrafted categories that were prepared by myself and our writers. Yes, I said writers, because this is no longer a one-person dog and pony show. We're a legit damn game show. We've prepared some fantastic categories and some games for our contestants tonight. If it's a trivia category, I will explain the category, then I will give the team the question. They will have a certain amount of time to answer said question, and if they get the question correct, they get the points. If they get the question wrong, or if they can't answer it in the time allotted, the question then moves on to the opposing team, who has an opportunity to steal for half the amount of points. We're going to start with round one, where each question is worth 100 points. We also have a little added bonus for our people who are watching at home, and a little extra challenge for our contestants who are playing tonight, because there are going to be certain points throughout the show where I'm going to be asking you, the audience, for some suggestions in a few audience prompts to get our contestants a little bit geared up and see if they can be funny on the fly. And we're going to start right now with our first audience prompt of the game. So get your fingers ready, because I need you to answer in our chat. We need a suggestion for each of the following. We're looking for a profession, a job title or a profession, a hobby, a circus animal, and a household appliance. Now, you can give us all four. You can give us 1, 2, 3, however many you like. But if you have a good suggestion for a profession, a hobby, a circus animal, and a household appliance, get those fingers moving, throw them in the chat. And we got some people who are strolling along, and they're going to give us your suggestions later on in the show. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, our actual trivia category for the game tonight. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on, and a lot of things lead to a lot of other things. It's called cause and effect. For instance, if you don't wash your hands, you might get coronavirus. If you don't wear a face mask, you might get kicked out of your local Applebee's. And which would be a real shame, because it seems like those $2 Long Island iced teas are the only thing strong enough to potentially kill coronavirus these days. But there are a few effects that can happen to people that are so strange and so bizarre that they had to be named very, very specially. And we're going to ask our contestants tonight to name a few of them in a category that I'm calling cause and effect. So these are all trivia questions that have to do with very specific psychological effects. So we sanitized and flipped a coin before the game started tonight, and Quarantina and the Waves, you're getting the first question in this category. Are you all ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring it.
Awesome. So your first question for 100 points. This psychological condition famously gets its name from a bank robbery that took place in 1973, when victims of the robbery began raising money for the defense fund of the bank robbers after they were arrested. What is the name of the condition?
Is that Stockholm Syndrome?
Ooh.
Doing something nice for someone who did something terrible to you. You think they're good people, right?
I was just thinking of like that Al Pacino movie and thought that might have had something to do with it. But I like
think it's hoo-ha-itis.
Maybe a couple more seconds and then I'll need an answer
I
from
like
you.
where you're going with the Stockholm Syndrome thing. I never actually knew the origin story.
I don't know either, but it sounds...
Okay, do you need an answer
That's the
from
same
you?
thing. Let's do it.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Final answer is correct. It was a bank in Stockholm, Sweden, hence Stockholm Syndrome, and 100 points right off the bat. Nicely done. Next
All right,
question.
I'm out.
That was
You did get to Rachel.
Going
See
on
you
top,
later.
Rachel.
We surrender. We lose.
Nobody's ever done that before. I would have to. Yeah.
I've got
Anyways,
hoo-ha-ha syndrome, I think.
this next question goes over to Cigarette Sandwich for 100 points.
That's awesome.
Out damn spot. This psychological effect is said to occur when a person feels the need to clean after being reminded of a moment of shame. For the name of the effect.
The name of the effect. Need to clean.
I will also
I don't
say
know.
for both teams, if you need me to repeat anything in the question, I will repeat it for you.
It's just the first part and then not the question.
Sure. I'll just start from the
I
beginning.
shouldn't have asked you to do that.
It's all right. I'll
Just
repeat it
wasting
again.
our time.
Can I just get the third word?
Sure. Out damn spot. This psychological effect is said to occur when a person feels the need to clean after being reminded of a moment of shame.
Huh.
So like a pine sol effect or like a Mr. Clean syndrome?
Sanicosis. I'm just trying to do Latin. I'm trying to find my way there through Latin and Greek.
I guess obsessive compulsive disorder, but I don't think it has to do with shame, actually. But it's the
I'll
only
give
thing
you a couple more seconds, and then I am going to need an answer from you.
Shame.
Let's go. I like Sanicosis. That sounds way
Yeah,
cooler than
that sounds-
OCD.
Yeah.
Just answer with whatever you think is right.
Sanicosis?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make it up.
Sanicosis.
I am sorry, Sig Sandwich, that is not the correct answer,
What?
which means
That's what you say, but we think we're right.
Quarantina and the Waves, you can get 50 points if you can name the effect.
The Lady Macbeth effect? Because out damn spot.
Right.
Can't get her hands.
I've not heard that term before. Is that a thing?
It sounds like it's a thing.
I will need
say
an
it, it's
answer
a
from
thing.
you. I will need an answer
It
from
won't
you.
hurt us to say it.
Rachel, you're on fire. Go for
I
it.
can't be stopped. The Lady Macbeth effect.
The Lady Macbeth effect is correct for 50 points.
Wow.
Huh.
Wow.
Scientific name.
All right. This one stays with Quarantina and the Waves. This one's for 100 points. Named for the 90s toy fad that swept the nation, this effect occurs when a person develops an emotional attachment to machines, robots, or software agents, even electronic car keys. What is the name of the psychological effect?
Tamagotchi effect?
That's what I thought too.
That's what I was
Tamagotchi?
thinking. Yeah, Tamagotchi effect.
Tamagotchi.
Final answer?
Yes.
I was more of a Dino Pets guy, but yes, Tamagotchi effect is correct for 100 points. Sig Sandwich, here's a chance for you to catch up for 100 points. This psychological effect, named after a nickname for a prominent comedic misstep, is the tendency for a person's appeal to either increase if they're popular or decrease if they're unpopular when they have an accident or a blunder.
Can we get that again?
I think I'm going to do a few states
Sure.
with there.
The psychological effect is named after a prominent comedic misstep.
Okay.
It's the tendency for a person's appeal to either increase if they're popular or decrease if they're unliked when they have an accident or commit some kind of blunder.
Huh. Like not a pratfall, but like a...
The Pokemon effect. Let's just stick with like a...
yeah. Something about Beanie Babies. No.
I'll give you a couple seconds and I am going to need an answer from you.
The Beanie Baby...
Increase or decrease?
It's based on a comedic misstep.
Self-esteem balloon. Something like that.
A self-esteem balloon?
Popularity.
Pick one for me,
Hot air
guys.
balloon. Hot air balloon.
The hot air balloon effect is your final answer?
Is that okay? Can we do that?
Yeah, hot air balloon effect.
Unfortunately, it is not the hot air balloon effect, which means Quarantina and the Waves, you can get 50 points if you can name the psychological effect.
I hate to ask you, but can you repeat it one more time?
One more time, and then that's it. This psychological effect, named after a prominent comedic misstep, is the tendency for a person's appeal to increase if they're popular or decrease if they're unliked after they have an accident or commit a blunder.
Okay.
Like Lotzi, like Commedia, like Lotzi effect or something?
Frig is that?
And I'll give you a couple of seconds, and I will need an answer from you.
I like it.
I thought pratfall, like they said, or
Yeah.
gaff, like the word gaff.
Gaff is pretty good.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
The word blooper just is
I
in
do need an
rotation,
answer. I gotta call
like
time
a
on
chicken
you.
in my head.
I need an
Okay.
answer. I got to call time.
I like blooper.
Blooper?
Blooper?
Final answer?
Okay, blooper.
Sure. Blooper.
Unfortunately, it is not blooper. You both danced around it. It's the pratfall effect.
Oh.
Carl, you had it.
Carl!
Okay, you gotta
Carl.
trust those instincts, Carl. Sorry, guys. But last question of the category. This one stays with Quarantina and the Waves. Your question for 100 points. This psychological effect, named for the woman known as the lady with the lamp, is a trope where a caregiver falls in love with their patient, even if very little communication or contact takes place outside of basic care.
The lady with the lamp is Florence Nightingale.
Nightingale, yeah.
Yeah. Nightingale effect. Yes.
Final answer?
Mm-hmm.
The Nightingale or Florence Nightingale effect is correct for 100 points. Nicely done.
Oh.
I knew that too, no problem.
We all knew it, Case.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knew it. Well, that's the end of the first trivia category. We're about to move into our next game. And so I think a lot of us have been spending a lot of time stuck indoors watching TV. And most of that is through streaming services like Netflix, Hulu. And if you're like me, you keep running into the same problem where you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and you've watched everything already and you can't find anything else new. And then there's too many options. So then what do you choose? It's just a nightmare. And it kind of makes me think about a simpler, easier time when people only had 3 channels to choose from and you had to watch whatever was on. And even back then, people didn't want to watch some of the stuff that was on. So I'm going to ask you some questions about some very, very lesser known, terrible 70s TV shows in a category called That 70s Show. But this is a little different than our usual trivia. I'm going to explain how this works. In front of me, I have a list of 12 different TV shows that all aired at some point during the 1970s. Here's the kicker. Some of them are real, and some of them are shows that I invented. So this is not a team event. I will ask each of you individually if the title of the TV show and the brief description that follows it is a real TV show or a TV show that I created. Each one that you get correct gets your team 100 points. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, did you create any shows that actually aired in the 70s?
I'm mysteriously young looking for my age. It's I have a portrait of me that ages in a basement somewhere. I'm actually 93.
I don't judge.
Wrote season 4 of Love Boat.
It was, yeah. It was crazy. I was on so much coke, though. But anyways, here we go. So our first question, we're going to go over to Carl. Carl, you're going to get the first one. So you're going to tell me whether or not this is a real or fake TV show.
Okay.
Your show is Future Cop. A veteran patrol officer gets an android for a partner.
We'll go on.
That's it.
Obviously, we want this to be.
Yeah, so I'm going to say yes, this is a show, hoping that I can look it up as soon as we're done with this.
Carl, it is absolutely a show. It aired in 1976, and it starred Ernest Borgnine, of all people. So check that out. Most of these only aired for one season, so that's it's never a good sign. All right, our next one, Kelly, this one's for you. Your show is called Quark, and it's the misadventures of an outer space garbage collector.
I'm gonna say you made that up.
I'm not that clever, Kelly. I did not make that one up. It's a real show, and it aired in 1977, so no points for Quarantina and the Waves.
Quark is a food thing, Chris, and I thought that might have been from you or the food thing.
You can't pigeonhole me that easily, Kelly. Come on. All right, this next one, Case, this one's for you. Your show is called Farabella. It is a romantic comedy about a duchess trying to find her duke in a fictional 18th century hamlet.
Farabella?
Farabella.
Nah, that's fake.
You're right, it is fake. Case. Going up. 100 points for cigarette sandwich. Nicely done, Case. Next one goes over to Tina. Tina, this one's for you. Your show is called Kimball Goes Wild, and it is about a zoo security guard who develops the ability to talk to animals and uses their help to solve crimes.
Real show.
It is not, Tina. I made that one up, which means until we write the pilot for Kimball Goes Wild, which we will, it is not a real TV show, so no points awarded.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, this one, Andy, this one's for you.
All right, here we go.
Your show is called Glitch. Martin is a scientist who finds his mind trapped inside a supercomputer of his own design.
Andy, don't mess this up.
Andy, come on. Andy, we're counting on you. Andy.
I'm gonna say this is fake. This didn't happen.
It didn't happen, Andy. I made this one up. 100 points for Sig Sandwich.
No one knew about computers back then.
I just imagine the computer would have been the size of a garage, and he would have literally been stuck inside of it, like lost in a maze. All right, this next one goes over to Rachel. Rachel, your show is called Jason of Star Command. It is a show about Jason who fights the evil Lord Dragos in his jurisdiction of the universe.
His jurisdiction.
Like, if they were gonna do a show like that, would they name the main character Jason? Wouldn't they name him like Balgor or something?
Rachel, that's for you to decide.
I'm letting you in on my process, Christopher.
Mm-hmm. I do need an answer from you, though.
There's been a lot of fakes. I'm gonna say real.
This one was real, and actually, this is, I think, this one ran for about 4 years. It was more of a kid's show than an actual show, so that's 100 points for Quarantina and the Waves. Well done. All right, starting back over at the top of the order, Carl, this one is for you.
Ooh.
Your show is called Bellhop Blues, and Annette Bellhop gets a surprise when he suddenly becomes the owner of a posh New York hotel.
Okay. And who was the actor?
I can't give you any more than that.
Oh, okay. Just thought I can get a little more.
Nice try. I mean, points for effort.
I really admire your style, Carl.
Let's Bellhop Blues. I'm gonna say no way, no how. That is a fake show that you made up.
You are 100% correct, Carl. I invented this one. That is
So we got all that
100
gold.
points. Here you go, man. All right, this next one, this one goes over to Kelly. Kelly, your TV show is called Stop Susan Williams. Show about a plucky female reporter who uncovers a global conspiracy and suddenly finds herself the prime target.
I'm gonna say fake.
Kelly, this one aired in 1979. It is a real TV show. They couldn't stop Susan Williams until she got canceled.
Wow.
All right.
It used to play just after it put down the flute.
Yes, the Nielsen's were the only ones who could stop Susan Williams. Case, this one goes down to you. Your show is called Riverbend, Life on the Amazon.
Yeah.
An expedition goes awry, leaving a team of adventurers lost in a mysterious part of the Amazon jungle.
It's real.
It's fake, Case. I'm
Nah,
sorry,
you're
no
wrong.
points awarded. Yeah, I got it. All right. Sorry, Case. This next one goes over to Tina. Tina, this one's for you. Show is called Wedlock and Key. Wedlock and Key. An ex-con is forced to marry his ex-girlfriend or risk violating parole.
Yes, it's real.
Sorry, Tina, I made that one up.
That's such a good. That's a good idea.
It's
wanted
coming
it to
soon.
be
They're all
real.
really good ideas.
We're in development right now. All right. This next one is for Andy. Andy, yours is called Me and the Chimp. Mike is living the good life until his kids find a chimp, turning his life upside down.
And me and the chimp. Okay. I choose to believe.
Yes.
This is real.
Yes.
Follow your heart, Andy. This one was real. It aired in 1972.
Chimps were so hot in the 70s.
All right. Last one, Rachel. This one is for you. Your show is called Chopper One.
No.
California cops Foley and Burdick fight crime from a helicopter.
Like, I so badly want to say that it's real that I'm doubting myself. Because, like, of course, choppers, ships, all that stuff. Yeah, obviously. Are you manipulating me psychologically? Are you?
That's my whole job on this show. Real or fake? Chopper One.
Real.
It was real. It aired in 1974. Nicely done. My question was, I couldn't find out in my research, do they ever get out of the chopper, or do they just stay in the chopper the entire time and just yell and throw things and shoot? No idea.
Suspect has gone indoors. We've lost him.
Yeah. All right, but there's still one more opportunity to earn some points in this category, and you may remember at the start of the game, we asked for a few suggestions from our audience, and now we're going to put those suggestions to the test. Al, what did we end up with for suggestions?
All right, let me tell you, we got a huge response from the audience this week, and we're going to go with, for a profession, an auctioneer. As a hobby, we're going to take up knitting. Circus animal, what's more classic than a flea circus? So we're going with flea. And your household appliance is a Roomba.
And a Roomba, nice. So, here is your task. Both teams, we're going to give you a couple of seconds to think this one over. I'm going to take the first suggestion from each team. I'm going to ask you to take at least 2, but as many of those 4 items and professions that we just listed, and I'll list them again for you. You're going to try to come up with the title and an elevator pitch, a brief description like the ones I've just been giving you, for your 70s sitcom. So we don't need one from everybody, we just need one from each team. So I'll say what those were again. There was a auctioneer, knitting, a flea, and a Roomba. Take at least 2, but use as many as you like, and come up with an idea and a title for a 70s style TV show. I'll give you a couple seconds. When you have an idea, shout it out, and then we're going to let our audience vote on which idea was funnier.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, one of us should just do it, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't really discuss it. Carl, I think you got this, dude.
Yeah, I got it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I have it.
Come on, Carl, what do you got?
All right. So this is a show. It's about a Roomba and a flea that have rented an apartment together.
Yep.
It's a bit of an odd couple situation because it's a Roomba, a flea, and a human. And it's about their domestic disputes. And eventually, one of them gets into an auction where they end up buying a haunted car. And that's going to lead them on different adventures. And it's going to be called Going, Going, Gone.
Going, Going, Gone. I love it. Okay, great. So that's Cigarette Sandwich's TV show idea. Quarantina and the Waves, what do you got for me?
I've got a season of that Ryan Murphy horror show that involves a traveling flea circus and a murderous Roomba, but that's not 70s.
It can be.
It could take place in the 70s.
Yeah. It's timepiece.
Yeah. So what is that show? American Horror Story?
Yeah.
Yeah, American Horror Story. It's 1974. Flea circus, traveling flea circus, and a Roomba from the future travels back in time and hunts these fleas because one of them kills a dog that befriends Donald Trump.
Concise. I love it.
Sitcom.
It was a very nice, tight, concise. And the title of your show?
American Horror Story: Itchy.
Okay, so everybody who's watching at home, now is your opportunity to vote for which show you like the most. Do you like American Horror Story: Itchy or Going, Going, Gone? Give us your answers in our chat, and we're going to have some people tallying up the votes, and whoever wins that one, you're going to win an extra 200 points tacked on to your score. Speaking of scores, we're going to get to that in a second, but first, we're going to take a quick little break for some ad time, and before we do that, we have a little at-home trivia for our viewers who are watching the show right now. Take a look at this picture that we have for you, and take a close look. We're not going to give you too much time, but can you guess how many M&Ms are in this bowl? We'll give you a couple seconds, and then we're going to take a quick word from our sponsor, and we'll have the answer when we come back.
I'm Partytopia CEO Jacob Hartman, and a party can happen anytime at our Partytopia retail locations. I'm going to be honest, Partytopia really needs your help.
Yeah.
Partytopia is open again and committed to your safety. We filmed half of this commercial in April, and now it's September, and people still aren't shopping at Partytopia. Celebrate a graduation, a birthday, or just because. We should be partying every day.
Partytopia believes that
Can you throw Partytopia a bone and buy something?
Halloween is just around the corner.
I don't know what Halloween is gonna look like this year.
And spooktacular.
I have thousands of Tiger King costumes, and I'll be lucky if I can sell 10 of them. That feels like it's from 1,000,000 years ago.
Partytopia. The party starts here.
All right, we asked if you could tell how many M&Ms were in the candy bowl before we went away on a break. And if you answered 87 M&Ms, you're wrong. They're Skittles, you big dummy. Thanks for playing along with us. And a big thank you to our sponsor. And you know, he makes a very good point. Everybody should be partying right now. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to tally up our scores. I almost completely forgot. We just played a quick little game. So looking at the scores right now, I have Cigarette Sandwich with 500 points. And I have Quarantina and the Waves just ahead with 550 points.
Not enough at all.
But you voted, and your favorite TV show is going to get the winner an extra 200 points. And Al, do we have a total on who had the best TV show pitch?
Just verifying 1 second. And I believe Cigarette got it.
Cigarette Sandwich. That means you are currently in the lead at 700 points. Quarantina and the Waves, you are right behind them with 550. But hey, there is still plenty of room to catch up. So,
how many points was that?
I'm sorry. They're at 700 points for Cigarette Sandwich and Quarantina and the Waves with 550 points.
Pretty good lead.
Yeah. As I was saying before, so our ad sponsor was right. People do need to start partying more, especially now. Everybody's so down in the dumps. But it's always sometimes so hard to come up with a good theme for a party. And that's going to bring us to our next audience prompt. So here's what we need from our audience to throw into our chat. We need a suggestion of a terrible, terrible idea for a party theme. So think of a party and then think of the worst possible theme to go along with it. Throw that into our chat. We're going to get your suggestions from you in just a few moments. But first, we're going to get into our next trivia category. And on the subject of parties, it's been so long since some of us have been to an actual flesh and blood party that I thought it would be fun to take a look at some of the things that make parties that much more fun that maybe we don't know so much about. And I'm going to ask you some questions about party items in a category called Do Me a Favor. These are all questions about party favors. This first question goes to Cigarette Sandwich. We're in round 2. The questions are worth 200 points. Your first question. Originally patented in 1972, this party favor was invented to be a, quote, foamable resinous composition designed to spray on a broken limb to create an instant cast. That is, until Whammo got the rights to it.
I think this is something we know well. Silly string.
We talking silly string here?
We talking silly string.
Oh yeah, we're talking silly string here.
Final answer?
Silly string.
Silly string is correct for 200 points. Nicely done, Sandwich.
We know silly string.
Back over to Quarantina and the Waves. This one is for you. Every birthday party would fall flat if it wasn't thanks in part to this party necessity, which we have in finite quantity today, thanks in part to a huge stockpile that was amassed during the United States lead up to World War I that never ended up getting used.
Have in limited quantity?
We have in finite quantity.
Finite
limited quantity.
What would they use during war? Like...
There was a clue at the beginning about not going flat.
I'll give you a couple more seconds.
Soda related.
Can you repeat the question again?
Sure thing. Every birthday party would fall flat if it wasn't thanks in part to this party necessity, which we have in finite quantity, thanks in part to a huge stockpile that was amassed during the United States lead up to World War I that never ended up being used.
Helium. Yeah.
Helium.
Final answer?
Yes.
Helium is correct for 200 points. Great job.
Yeah.
Back over to Cigarette Sandwich. This question is for you. This company got its start in 1934 when a budding ice cream truck owner blew a flat tire and in the process of selling his half-melted ice cream, inadvertently invented soft serve, but today it's their hard frozen ice cream shapes that are the life of the party. Can you name the company?
Oh, it's not Dippin' Dots because that's
Carvel?
the future.
Oh yeah, that's too futuristic. What'd you say, Andy?
Carvel?
They have hard frozen ice cream shapes.
Ice cream shapes.
I mean,
like popsicles or I don't know. I'm trying to think of a company. Right. The question is what company?
It is the name of a company. Yes.
Smith and Wesson. Yeah.
Popsicle.
Carvel's probably better.
A couple more seconds, and I will need an answer from you.
For
Carvel.
Party favorite. Carvel? Yeah, I don't know.
Carvel.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Founded by Tom Carvel in 1934. That is correct for 200
points. Oh my God, the sweat.
I love it. I love it when you get it in the first answer, and then you just don't trust yourself.
I was so hoping you were going to talk yourself out of it.
This
All right.
Smith and Wesson.
That's 200 points for Cigarette Sandwich. It's followed closely by Smith and Wesson. Yes.
I was leaning toward that.
No party's complete without a Smith and Wesson. All right. This next question goes over to Quarantina and the Waves for 200. This party accoutrement gets its name from the Italian word for little sweets and originally started out as dried fruit, seeds, and nuts, but found its modern form in 1975 when a businessman in Milan found a way to repurpose textile byproducts.
What? Fruit, seeds, and nuts textile?
Confetti.
Oh, yeah, because confection, Eddie.
Italian.
Confetti.
Confetti.
Final answer?
Yeah.
You got to do this when you say it, but yeah, it's confetti for 200 points. And you got to go, hey, when you throw it.
Hey. Confetti.
Hey.
Goes, hey.
I can't understand anything y'all are saying right now.
Last question. Last question of the category.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Iannucci.
This one goes back over to Cigarette Sandwich for 200. This party novelty is thought to date back over 700 years to Asia, when Marco Polo first recorded seeing them fashioned into the figures of cows and oxen, was eventually carried to Europe sometime in the 14th century before making its way to the Americas. What is the party novelty?
Pin the tail on the donkey. Pin the tail on the yak. Pin the tail on anything. Ooh.
Or a piñata?
Yeah, they were fashioning it into that, right? Wait, could you say they were fashioning something into
fire
cows?
Yes. Marco Polo recorded seeing them being fashioned into the figures of cows and oxen.
It might be a piñata.
A Chinese piñata?
Silly putty?
I'll give you a couple more seconds, and then I will need an answer from you.
Nickelodeon gack?
Whoopee cushion? That's my next guess.
Wood!
All right, Six Sandwich, you got something for me?
Piñata?
Yeah, piñata.
Piñata is your final answer?
Yes.
Piñata is correct for 200 points.
You gotta say it like this, though.
Piñata.
Piñata.
Hey, a piñata to you.
All right, nicely done. Well, that's the end of that category, but there was one last bonus thing that we wanted to tack on the end. Now, you remember I asked you for a suggestion of a terrible party theme, and Al, did we get a suggestion of a terrible party from someone in the audience?
We did. It was a D-Day party.
A D-Day party. Okay, great. So, terrible idea for a party theme. But let's assume that you're throwing that party, and I just don't want to come. Nobody in the audience wants to come to your D-Day party. So here's what I need from each team. I need one of you to give me a really good reason why I and everybody watching at home should come to your D-Day party. Are you doing something special? What's going on in the festivities that's so D-Day related that I need to come and I can't miss it? So I need a best answer from one person on each of the team, and we're going to let the audience vote, and you're going to win another 200 points if you're the favorite. Whoever wants to go first, when you get an idea, throw it on out.
I got one.
Okay.
You got this, Andy?
Yeah, I got an idea.
Hell yeah. That's what we need.
That was what was asked for.
You need to come to my D-Day party, not because you want to, but because you've been called. Because there is a man taking over this party, and it's not his party to take over. And he is ruining this this party. And I need you to storm this party to save us from the clutches of this really, really boring dictator.
Right there with you. Thank you, Andy. And Quarantina and the Waves, why are we coming? Why should we come to your D-Day party?
We're going to have so many bunkers that you could go into that have so many different themes. You never know what you're going to get once you go into that bunker and get locked in. It's there's going to be lots of different gases, some canned goods, spoons, and it's just going to sound like you're in a womb almost. Remember the womb?
I don't, but it would be nice to.
But you can imagine.
This is a party that's going to live in infamy, you guys.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And
party
infantry.
That will live in, even better. All right, well, those are your 2 reasons why you should come to their D-Day party. Everybody who's watching at home, make sure you jump in the chat and vote for which reason you thought was better. Was it Andy's? Was it Tina's? I don't know. That's for you to decide. And whoever gets the most votes is going to win 200 extra points tacked onto their score. Well, that's the end of that round, and moving into our next round. You know, birds. What can I say about them? They're so popular.
Hello, my sweet lover angels, and welcome to another exciting episode of Someone's in the Kitchen with Dinah, the show where we have fancy meals and talk about my roommate's murder.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Would you say?
I'm sorry. The Patreon subscribers have to be quiet during the live stream. Okay.
No. You're in the middle of a game show right now.
Chris,
sorry.
This is some interference, Chris.
There must be a stream cross. Sorry, we're in the middle of a trivia game show. Sorry, I don't know.
A lot to unpack while we make chicken pot crust and talk about my roommate's murder. So we're gonna unpack this chicken. Now, this chicken is bone in, skin on, which is unfortunately not how they found Dinah, if the coroner's report is to be believed. Okay,
I'm sorry. Did you say Chad Seven Gables?
Yes.
You're doing your show in the wrong spot. This is my stream key for Quarantine. It's a game show. It's a trivia game show, not about your roommate's murder.
Show.
Yeah, game show. I'm sorry. We're gonna need you to get out of here.
I can't get rid of him, Chris. They won't let me him out.
No. This is good. I actually, if you don't mind, I have a game that we can play.
I was going to do a category about birds.
No, birds are last year. No one's talking about birds anymore.
Oh, all right. I want to stay relevant. So I guess Chad Seven Gables, take it away.
All right. Hello, and welcome to this category that I'm calling Hot Dish Cold Blood. So this game is also an individual game. It's not a team game. I have a list of 6 names, and I'm going to go to each of you. I'm going to give you the name, and you have to tell me if she is a chef or if she is a serial killer, because I like to see the room and bring it down. All right, and we're going to start with Rachel. Hi, Rachel.
Hello, sir.
All right, Frances Knorr.
Can you spell the last name?
Knorr.
I'm going to say that she is a chef.
Unfortunately, no. Frances Knorr is a killer. Frances Knorr is known as the baby farming murderess whose death sentence divided Australians in 1892. All right, moving on to Carl. Hi, Carl.
Hi.
All right, the name for you, Dominique Crenn.
I could go by that. Wait, what?
Is she a chef or a killer?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Dominique Crenn. Let's go with chef.
Chef is correct.
Oh, yes.
A French chef, and it's currently the only female chef in America to maintain a 3 Michelin star rating. All right, moving on to Tina. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Chad Seven Gables.
Your figure is Julia Tofana.
Tofana. She's a serial killer.
That is correct. Julia Tofana was a professional poisoner in Renaissance Italy, and under torture, she confessed to killing over 600 men.
Wow, that's a lot.
All right.
Get it, girl.
We have Case. Hi, Case.
Hey.
All right. Jane Toppin.
Oh, yeah, Jane Toppin. I was waiting for the 10. It could be both. Not mutually exclusive, but I'm going to go with serial killer.
That is correct. Jane Toppin was better known as Jolly Jane. She was an angel of death who killed 31 people. So, you know, like I said, see the room, bring it down. And then we have Kelly. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Jen.
All right. Nadia Santini.
I'm going to say she's a chef.
That is correct. She is an Italian chef, and her restaurant has held 3 Michelin stars since 1996. You go, Nadia, get those stars. And last but not least, we have Andy. Hi, Andy.
Hello. All
right, Minnie Dean.
Minnie Dean. I'm gonna say chef.
Unfortunately, no. Minnie Dean is a killer, and she is the only woman to be sentenced to death in New Zealand.
Yay.
Who steamed sausages then?
Well, this was so much fun, but I have to start working on this paprikash because I have to clock into my second job. You know, my roommate died, so I don't, you know, there's only one income paying the rent now. So I have to get ready. I'm the new Times Square Elmo. So come say hello, give me a hug when it's safe to do so. I'm masked, but you might not be.
That's horrifying. But I guess thank you so much, Chad Seven Gables, for bringing the room down. And thank you to the contestants. So looking at the scores after that round, I believe I have Cigarette Sandwich with 1,500 points. 1,700.
Sounds fun.
1,700 points.
1,700, Chris.
And Quarantina and the Waves, you have 1,350 points.
Correct.
Which also leaves room for our audience vote. Who had the best invitation to their D-Day themed party? Al, did we get a result on that from the chat?
We did. It was tied for a long time, and then Quarantina took the win.
So an extra 200 points on the board for Quarantina and the Waves, bringing you up to 1,450, which still keeps you...
1,550.
1,550, my bad. Sorry, Rachel. Please don't yell at me.
Sorry, Mrs. Iannucci.
Still behind, but still very, very catch-upable because we are about to head into round 3, where the questions are worth 300 points. Stealing gets you 150. But before we do some trivia, today marks the first official day of fall, which means summer is completely behind us, and I am ready to go whole hog on being some basic fall business. I got my mini gourds up on the mantle behind me. I'm wearing my spandex right now. I have been burning cinnamon sticks around my house trying to get the spirit of summer out of my apartment. And I want to see how prepared our contestants are to be their most basic this season in a little game that I'm calling Fall Crawl. Now, this is going to be a lot different from the other games that you have played so far because we're going to send you on a little bit of a scavenger hunt right now. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. I'm going to give you a list of items that you need to run away from your computer, retrieve, and bring back to me before the timer ends. Now, the way this works is each item gets your team 100 points. I won't give double points for multiple items, so you're going to have to try to bring back as many as you can. If you can't find something, hopefully somebody else on your team has it. But each team has the potential to win up to 600 points in this category if they can find all 6 items. So here are the items that you need to run and get. I'm looking for a hoodie or a hooded sweatshirt, if you're lame, a scarf, gloves, some pair of sweatpants or yoga pants, a wool or knit cap, and something that is pumpkin spiced or pumpkin flavored. Now, I will say if you're wearing any of those items right now, it doesn't count. You have to run and get another pair of that item. I'll say them one more time. We're looking for a hoodie, a scarf, gloves, sweats and or yoga pants, a wool or knit cap, and something that is pumpkin flavored. And there's one extra item that you're going to have to get. Something that is not pumpkin flavored, but something that you think should be pumpkin flavored, be it edible or inedible. That is completely for you to decide, and our audience will vote on what they think should be pumpkin flavored at the end of the scavenger hunt for an additional 200 points. Make sense to everybody?
Makes sense to me.
You get your to-go list, Rachel?
The thing that isn't pumpkin flavored, is it that a pumpkin flavor of the item does not exist?
Something that you have in your apartment that is not pumpkin flavored that you think would be best flavored in pumpkin. And I will leave that up to you. That's for you to decide. All right. Okay. So we're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. Ready? And on my mark, you will take off. Ready? On your marks, get set, go.
And they're off.
Ace seems confident.
Yeah. It's like, I don't need to go.
He is strolling. He's got it. He's got it.
He has all those things in a box already.
Yeah, he's already ready to unpack for fall, so everything is already lined up and ready to go. There's a tote
behind that door that just says fall, and he's going to drag it back with him and be done.
They actually did start making pumpkin spiced hand sanitizer. I don't know if you saw that. We made that joke at the top of the show.
I'm glad that I didn't. Just so
you know, we're
coming up on 30 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds on the clock. Let's see if they can get everything that they need to complete the basic fall scavenger hunt. I don't know, man.
Chris, if you could think of one thing that you wish was pumpkin spice that is currently not, what would it be?
Oh, man, if they made Kleenex, like, or I shouldn't use the brand name, if they made facial tissues that you glue your nose on. I thought I was going to put you
on the spot, but that's actually a fantastic idea.
That were scented as pumpkin spice,
no
I
one's
think.
Back
all right,
with
Carl's
5,
back. Carl's back.
4, 3.
Uh-oh, we might have a... Carl, you might be the only one with items.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
Do we add 10 seconds to the clock?
No one's back. We gotta... All right, we're going to give him an extra second here just to be on the safe side here.
Did the time run out?
Yeah, time already ran out. Oh, I don't know.
Do we just give it to the first 2 people back?
I think it's going to have to be between Carl and Tina. I think that's got to be it.
Yeah.
What?
Unfortunately, Kelly, you didn't make it back in time. Carl and Tina...
Can I do the stuff that I threw here before?
Well, how about this? We'll let you use your up for grabs pumpkin option, but unfortunately, nobody made it back other than Carl and Tina in the 60 seconds.
No!
So for their items, we're going to only count their items, but we're going to take your suggestions for pumpkin flavored items.
Okay.
What? That?
You're
60
all
seconds.
Too long.
Nobody made it back in time except for Carl and Tina.
No.
So we're going to let Carl and Tina go through their items, and we're going to see how many points you got. Remember, it's 100 for each item that you grabbed, and then we'll decide what the audience is going to vote on once we get through that list. But Carl, let's see what you got here. Did you get a hoodie?
Yes. So first off, hoodie. Bought this for $5 at PacSun when it was going out of business in a mall.
Fantastic. I love clothing with a backstory. Tina, did you get a hoodie?
Yes.
Fantastic. That is 100 points on the board for each team. Next up, did you get a scarf?
Yes, I did. Scarf here.
Scarf, Tina, scarf?
I have this thing.
That counts. It's an infinity scarf. There you go. Next one, did you get gloves? Any gloves?
I don't have gloves.
Neither one of you got gloves. That is no points for either team. That's okay. It's a wash. Next one up.
No glove, no love.
Sweats or yoga pants?
Oh, you know what? I sweats.
You got sweats. Tina's got her sweats on. That's great. That is an extra 100 points for each team. Next one up, wool or knit cap? A wool cap or a knit cap? And you both delivered. You guys are 4 for 4. That's fantastic. Next one, something that is pumpkin spiced.
I have no pumpkin spice.
No pumpkin spice?
All right.
Carl, I can't see what you're holding up. But...
Oh, no. Okay. So it's a Siggy's yogurt that is pumpkin and spice
flavored.
And it's delicious.
Wow.
I'll take your word for it, man.
Delicious.
I know what I'm going to go out and buy later.
I just bought this today.
So here's the deal. You were the only 2 that made it back with items. Fortunately for both teams, you only missed, I think, 6 sandwich. You got 5 out of 6. And Quarantina, you got 4 out of 6. But there's still the missing item that we're going to ask our audience to vote on. And we'll let everybody put their option up so that everybody gets a fair shot to get voted on here. What do you have that isn't pumpkin spiced, but you think the audience would like to see pumpkin spiced?
Cheez-It.
Cheez-Its.
Altoids.
Ricotta cheese from Narragansett Premier. Spider-Man and a lighter. Hold those up for 1 second so the audience can take a quick look and see what all of your options were. And here's the deal. Everybody who's watching at home, we need you to get in the chat and let us know which one of these 6 items you would like to see pumpkin spiced We're going to make this easier. Vote for the team that has the item, not the individual item, just so that way we can split the votes between the two teams. So if you think somebody on Sig Sandwich has the better option, vote for Sig Sandwich. And if you think somebody on Quarantina and the Waves has the best option, vote for Quarantina and the Waves.
I can put recipes if that's helpful.
We'll do a little. We'll stick around after the show for people who want to learn how to make pumpkin ricotta. But so we're gonna let you vote on that. We're gonna move on to our last category of the evening. While those get totaled. So earlier this week, actually just a few days ago, the CDC website was updated to include some additional guidelines for preventing the spread of coronavirus, in which they included the fact that coronavirus is now spreadable through aerosol means, meaning that it can be spread through the air, could be breathed in minute particles, where before it was just something that you had to get in contact with, or somebody had to spit in your mouth or something. But that was only up for a brief amount of time, and then they took the page down and completely changed everything. And their response was that they were going to put it back whenever they figured out what was actually going on and what the best advice was, which isn't very helpful when you're trying to curb a pandemic. But there are other times in history when some pages disappeared as well, and they never got put back at all. So we're going to ask our contestants some trivia questions about some books that disappeared, were lost to history, and the authors who wrote them in a category called Missing Pages. These are all questions that have to do with authors who wrote books that were lost to history. So Quarantina and the Waves, you get the first question of this category. This round 3, all these are worth 300 points. Your question: in 2013, this author's widow rediscovered a pile of manuscripts, including the words and illustrations for a book titled What Pet Shall I Get?, which was originally written between 1958 and 1962 and featured characters from a previous bestseller. Who was the author?
I believe it's Dr. Seuss. That's what I would go with.
Thought too. That's a very Dr. Seussy title.
Very Seussy.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss is correct for 300 points. Nicely done. This question goes over to Cigarette Sandwich. Your question for 300. This famous playwright's theater company, the King's Men, performed his play Cardenio, believed to be based on the novel Don Quixote, just one time for King James I before being lost to history forever. Who was the playwright?
Yeah, but I was just waiting for Andy to know the answer.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Everything got messed up.
I know it's not Shakespeare, right? So it's one of the other ones.
Christopher Marlowe.
That's a good guess.
Did we get a date? What was it? Oh, King James? Oof. Yeah.
Chris.
King James. He had a Bible named for him.
Dude, he wrote a Bible. It was probably Jesus.
Jesus.
Chris.
Yes.
I hate to do this and interrupt, but can I ask literally everyone to do the thing I asked them not to do, except Steven, and put your name up like you're away.
Put your away page up for a second. I guess there's a problem with the screen, so we're going to reset the screen real quick.
Steven lost connection, and it threw everybody off, and the only way to get it back is to have everybody do that. And then you come right back, and you'll be good.
Oh,
come right back?
Yep, you
Everybody
can come
wants to
on
jump
back,
back in,
and
yep.
we'll have you live again, and I'll straighten everything out.
Case went too far.
Waiting on one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we lost Case.
Waiting on one more. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, no. He had
he's
the
coming
answer.
Back. He's coming back. Case had the answer, and he's gone. No, here he is. And he's back, and he's back. Welcome back, Case. We missed you.
He's just sitting there the whole time.
Perfect. Everything's good. Keep going. Sorry.
All right, fantastic. So after that hiccup, I'll repeat the question for you just so that way you get a second chance. This famous playwright's theater company, the King's Men, performed his play Cardenio, believed to be based on the novel Don Quixote. It just was performed one time for King James I before it was lost to history forever. We're looking for the person who wrote the play Cardenio.
Case, you know this?
Do I know this? I'm just going to say Shakespeare. He's around during King James?
Sure.
Shakespeare.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, he's the only one I know.
It's a good thing because that is the correct answer for 300.
Oh my God.
All right, this one goes over to Quarantina and the Waves. Your question. In 1922, Hadley, the first of this author's 4 wives, put longhand originals of her husband's novel in a suitcase on a train bound for Switzerland. Unfortunately, the suitcase was stolen along the way. Distraught, the author never attempted to rewrite the novel, which was based on his experiences in World War I. Who was the author?
1922.
Abyss.
Wives. What'd you say, Cal?
You said Abyss? What did you say? What was that? How did it start?
In 1922,
his wife Hadley.
First of 4 wives.
Yes. And I will give you a couple of seconds, but then I will need an answer from
Novel
you. So
about when he was in World War I.
On a train to Switzerland.
Hemingway or...
I mean, maybe. Yeah, that he's probably married a lot. Yeah, and that's about the right.
I do need an answer from you.
Hemingway.
Yep.
Final answer?
Ernest, yes.
Out of the gun, Hemingway is correct for 300 points.
Atta girl.
Nicely done. All right, back over to Sig Sandwich. Your question. No stranger to long, sad seafaring tales, this author wrote his manuscript titled The Isle of the Cross, a story about the daughter of a lighthouse keeper who saves, falls in love with, and is eventually abandoned by a shipwrecked sailor. In 1853, his publisher turned him down, and the book has been lost to time. Who is the author that I'm referring to?
Maybe Melville?
1853?
He was no stranger to seafaring tales. That's probably Melville.
So that would be like Moby Dick. That's what made me think Melville.
Okay.
Final answer?
Yeah, he liked the water.
Yeah, he loved water.
His stuff was mostly about water.
What an idiot. He loved water.
Including The Isle of the Cross. It was written by Herman Melville for 300.
Oh, yes. I knew he was water guy.
Water guy. He wrote a prototype of the movie Waterworld. It was based on a novel by Melville.
Yeah.
All right, last question of the category. This one goes back over to Quarantina and the Waves for 300.
Speaking of water.
It only took Robert Louis Stevenson 3 days to write a 30,000-word first draft of this novel that we're all now very familiar with. However, after his wife felt it needed improvement, he burned the whole thing and started from scratch, leaving literary scholars wondering how different his novel could have been. What is the book that Robert Louis Stevenson famously burned his complete first draft of?
Was he the Treasure Island? No.
I was thinking Swiss Family Robinson.
I was too. That's what I was thinking, I think. Robinson Crusoe did the other one, I think.
Give you a couple more seconds and I am going to need an answer from you.
Both have Robinson in common.
Yeah. I like the Swiss Family Robinson because that was in my head also.
I like it too.
Yeah, tree.
Final answer?
Tree.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it was not the Swiss Family Robinson, which means Cigarette Sandwich, you can steal for 150 points. Do you know the famous novel by Robert Louis Stevenson that had its complete first edition burned?
Treasure Island?
Treasure Island?
Final answer?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he also wrote The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Was the novel that could have been completely different if he hadn't burned it. But that's the end of the category, and that is the end of round 3, and the only thing we have left is to tally up the votes for who had the best pumpkin idea. Al, what do we get for a vote on that one?
So it was close. It was a lot of back and forth, a lot of confusion, and we figured it out, and it's Quarantina and the Waves.
Quarantina and the Waves.
We have no clue which flavor won because they voted by team, but it was them.
Well, we may never know, but sound off in the comments.
Ricotta and what?
It was ricotta. It was toothpaste and Cheez-Its.
Toothpaste.
Toothpaste? Honestly, I think you won it, Tina.
I'd eat the
Pumpkin.
I don't know. I think toothpaste would be nice.
Pumpkin Spiced Man was robbed.
I'd eat the Cheez-Its.
Pumpkin
Spider-Man.
Obviously.
He's already got the lines. If you paint him orange, he already looks like a pumpkin. All right, so
or a basketball.
Chris, totaling
How many
up the
points
score.
was that for? Sorry.
That was for 200 points, that additional item.
Okay.
So totaling up the points, and I'm looking at the score right now, and it is a nail biter. I have Cigarette Sandwich, back me up on this one now, Cigarette Sandwich with 2,300 points.
No.
Jordan.
No, what do I have here?
2,800 points.
28, oh, I'm sorry,
That's
my
better.
3 got turned into an 8. And I have
Not a nail biter at all?
That is not a nail biter at all, I stand corrected.
No,
that's what happens when you use
still a
dry
nail
erase.
biter. It's
And Quarantina and the Waves has, Al?
2,750.
27.
Oh, that is an elbow.
Yes,
Right.
okay, great. So I wasn't that far off. All right, which means that is the end of our regular play, which means we're about to go into some sudden death for Quarantina and the Waves. But before we do, we have one last ad that we're going to show from one of our wonderful sponsors. Take it away, Al.
Sometimes you just need to get away. Sometimes you just want to unplug, undress, and unwind. Sometimes you need to be by the sea. Explore the beaches of Kentucky. Brought to you by global warming.
Kentucky beaches coming soon in 2024. Thank you very much to our sponsor for that wonderful ad. Going forward, we have one last stop on our game tonight. Quarantina and the Waves, you are down by just 50 points, but unfortunately you're still down, which means that it's time for the final round. Now, I know that you have done this before, Quarantina. You're no stranger to being in this position, but for those watching at home and for Cigarette Sandwich, I'll explain how this works. In front of me, I have 3 different questions. Each one has a different point value associated to it and a different difficulty level associated to it. So there is an easy question for 500 points, a medium question for 750, and a hard question for 1,000 points. Now, when I say easy, medium, or hard, they're all hard. The easy is just the easiest of the hard questions. Now, I will give you the option to choose one of those 3 questions, read the question to you, and you will have an opportunity to answer it. If you get the question right, then you get the points, which means you would take the lead, and it would then be Cigarette Sandwich's turn to choose one of the remaining 2 questions to win back the lead and win the game. However, if you don't get the question right, that means that Sig Sandwich stays in the lead and they win the game. So you have an option. Do you want to go for the easy, the medium, or the hard question?
Medium.
Oh, really?
Well,
I mean, you have to get it right. If they have to get the medium right.
We have to get the medium right.
No, yeah.
We have to get the easy right. And if they don't get the medium right, we win. Right?
That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I was just thinking.
We're close enough we can do that.
Okay.
So you're going for the easy question?
If we get it wrong, they're going to win.
Right. If we get it wrong, they win no matter what.
Then they'd have to get a medium or hard one in order to beat us if we get this right.
That is correct, yes.
I think the hardest question is which question to answer.
I agree.
Yes, yeah. Well, people spend more time choosing the question than answering the actual question once they get it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
Unless you want to do medium, I don't know.
No, I don't.
Okay, I do need you to choose one, though.
Yeah. Let's go easy, unless, Tina, you have a different opinion?
Medium, Tina?
I'm going with you on the easy train.
Okay. All right, so you're going to go for the
Let's
easy.
not stress.
Let's take it easy like Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Going for the 500-point question, potentially the lead, potentially the game.
Because we're only 50 points behind.
That is correct. Quarantina and the Waves, here is your question for 500 points. This plant is widely used in herbal medicines due to its high concentration of the chemical curcumin, which, despite its bitter taste, provides a natural anti-inflammatory response and has been proven as a pain reliever. What is the name of the plant? Now, again, I can repeat anything in the question for you. I'll give you a little bit of extra time to debate because this one is the final question. There you go.
Like, I know turmeric is, but it's not that's a root, but that is a plant.
Plant that is used as an anti-inflammatory.
Aloe is an anti-inflammatory, but aloe is aloe, unless Chris is trying to get real scientific in Latin.
I can repeat anything in the question. I will say it is the name of a plant that I'm looking for.
Could you spell curcumin for me?
Curcumin. Curcumin. Judges?
Did you say specifically that it was for pain relief, or you just said anti-inflammatory?
I will repeat the question for you. This plant is widely used in herbal medicines due to its high concentration of the chemical curcumin, which, despite its bitter taste, provides a natural anti-inflammatory response and has been proven as a pain reliever.
See, I don't think turmeric has a bitter taste.
What is healing?
It's cilantro, but I don't think it's cilantro.
I don't know herbs and plants.
But what's bitter?
Healing.
What's a bitter plant?
I don't eat plants.
Who would?
Cumin. The spelling makes me think of cucumber, but they're not bitter.
And curcumin makes me think of cumin, the spice.
Right.
Yeah, but
we're thinking a color family. That's cumin.
The plant.
Plant.
That is bitter. Bitter.
Arugula can be bitter.
I'm never going to eat arugula to anti-inflame myself.
It is rocket. It could. That might cause flames.
Narrowing anything down at this point?
Herbalist. Herbalist.
I feel like you're strolling through the big book of plant names right now.
Bitter herb for inflammation.
Bitter herbs.
Okay, I will need you to start coming up with an answer for me soon.
What's bitter?
Bitter. Horseradish is bitter.
Yeah, let's go with it.
But is a root a plant? That's my question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I do need an answer from you.
Let's do horseradish. Feel good about it. It clears your sinuses. What can it do?
Okay, it's just a thing I said out loud. If you want to use it as the answer, go ahead.
I'm saying out loud what Rachel said out loud. Horseradish.
Horseradish is your final answer.
Yeah.
Kelly had it right. It is turmeric. Oh! Is a plant. All plants have roots. Sometimes you eat the root. And in this case, turmeric was the root that we were looking for.
So easy. We're so smart. We're just
hence the easy question.
Too hard.
Which means, I'm so sorry to say this, but Quarantina and the Waves, you didn't get the question, which means you didn't get the points, which means you didn't get the win, which means that Cigarette Sandwich is our big winner for the evening. But before we say goodbye to Quarantina and the Waves,
we'll do the hard question.
First of all, fantastic job tonight. It's always a
double
pleasure
or nothing.
to have you
Hard
on the
question.
show.
We lose if we get it wrong.
Oh, this dog a loser.
You got to take the win. Sorry, Casey. You got to take the win on this one.
Loser.
But Quarantina and the Waves, you do actually have an event coming up this weekend, and we want to give you a chance to tell the folks at home about it. Tell us what you got going on this Sunday.
Sure, it's the Empire Review. It is a sketch comedy group with a live band, and we will be performing in Lippert Park on Sunday at 2:00.
In Providence, Rhode Island, on the east side.
You can get tickets, though. No tickets at the door.
Yeah, get
right.
them tonight.
Ahead of time. And we
so
will
find the Empire Review, REVUE, on Facebook. And you can find the link there to buy tickets. As Kelly said, we will not be selling tickets at the door. You cannot
wear a mask and you'll be socially distanced.
Fantastic.
Wear a mask,
and,
bring a chair.
Doing it safe, and I love that. And we also will post up share the page for Empire Review. You guys have videos. You guys have clips from old shows. One of my favorite things to see in Providence. So, and again, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Cigarette Sandwich, first time on, and you guys won it.
Yay.
Congratulations. And we got a prize lined up for you, but before we do, you guys also have a show coming up. Is it a cruise? We don't have that kind of budget, Carl. I'm sorry, I wish. Okay. But you also have a show coming up on October 3rd, right? You're doing your live show. Would you like to tell the folks maybe who haven't seen you before where they can find you and a little bit about your show?
Yeah, sure. I'll take it. October 3rd. So we're Cigarette Sandwich from Chicago. We do a show first Saturday of every month. So the next one's October 3rd on the Annoyance Theater's Twitch channel. So it's going to be twitch.tv/Annoyance Theater at 9 p.m. on Saturday, October 3rd. And the show is the Cigarette Sandwich Power Hour. So it's an hour-long show, and it's broken up into 60 one-minute segments. A lot of pre-recorded sketches, some live bits. We're in little boxes on the TV. And after each sketch, every sketch is a minute, we do a little drink of whatever it is you're imbibing for that hour, and we have a good time. And we have a lot of videos from our friends from Chicago and who moved away that also make appearances. So yeah, that's it.
9 p.m. Central.
9 p.m. Oh yeah, thank you. 9 p.m. Central.
10 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check it out. Once again, Cigarette Sandwich, one of my favorite things to see when live comedy was a thing in Chicago. Their show on Twitch is hilarious. You got to check it out. And also, we promised you a prize.
Super quick, just so you're aware, they posted a link in the chat to Cigarette Sandwich. Bill Stein
Okay,
did.
awesome, great. So if you're in the chat right now, but we'll post up on Facebook. And Sig Sandwich, we promised you a prize. And I think Chad Seven Gables is standing by to let us know. Chad Seven Gables, tell Cigarette Sandwich what they won.
All right. Cigarette Sandwich is walking away with a box of leaves. Perfect for sprucing up your home with an autumnal embrace or hiding your secrets.
I love leaves.
Thank you
Hey,
so
do you
much.
think that guy killed his roommate? You guys think Chad Seven Gables killed his roommate?
I was starting to get that.
Nice.
Great.
I can't watch the show because it's on at the same time as my show, and I will never know. So, and I refuse to look at things that aren't live.
I just think maybe Chad Seven Gables killed his roommate. That's all I'm saying.
Let's look into that. But in the meantime, until we figure out the murder of Dinah, we want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. We hope you had a good time. Yes, say it. Yeah. Say again now.
Brian.
Oh, and also, yes, I was going to get to that. Thank you so much, Al. And a big thank you to Brian Elliott, who gave us our ad tonight. He's also another one of the fantastic performers at the Empire Review in Providence. Thank you. You can check out his stuff at Belly IT Doodles on Instagram. And he also has a website, brianwelliott.com. We're going to show you the link. And we're also, again, going to share posts to his site on our site. Be sure to check his stuff out. He's hilarious. And a big thank you to everybody who played tonight. A big thank you to everybody who watched tonight. If you haven't seen us before and you want to check us out, we're here every Tuesday night. We do new teams, new comedy, new sketches, new characters, everything new every single week. You can follow us at Quarantine Game Show on Facebook, and you can send us an email if you loved or hated what you saw tonight, or if you run a pyramid scheme and you want me to sell herbs out of my garden or my kitchen, at Quarantine the Game Show at gmail.com. So once again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you to all of our contestants. Congratulations to Cigarette Sandwich. And we will see you all next week. And until then, stay safe, stay sane, and take care of each other. Thank you all so much and have a great night.
We're coming back until we win.
Keep on coming back, Rachel. Thank you so much, guys. You're so close. So close.
Should have listened to you, Cal.
I know.
Just not that I'm going to rub you.
Well, just said turmeric.